Good morning, everyone. How are you doing? Hope you're doing well. And I welcome you here to the Level 1 Podcast. Today is Monday, the 15th of April, 2024. I'm DSP, and we are back full-time gaming for the next 3 days, which is great. As much as I enjoy getting that nice break right in the middle of the week for a full day of reacting every Sunday, at least for the last couple of months, I do enjoy jumping wholeheartedly and full force back into gaming for the second half of my streaming week. And today's certainly no exception. Today will be a great day. We got some multiplayer. We got the conclusion of survival horror, leading into a new game tomorrow that I have no idea if it's something that we're going to want to play long-term or not, but it's an experiment, kind of. And so far, this week's been great. Today on the show, I'll be honest, again, much like yesterday, I don't have too many particular topics that I want to talk about, except I do want to, in very general terms, talk about my initial opinion on the Fallout TV show, which I just finished last night with my wife. It's 8 episodes. Each episode just about an hour. Usually they're a little bit longer. And basically, wow. Let me put it this way. I have a lot to say. But the thing is, the only way you can really talk about this show in a way that will make more sense is to spoil, which I'm not going to do here on the podcast today whatsoever. I am actually going to review the Fallout TV show this week, but basically by Wednesday night, like either tonight, tomorrow night, or Wednesday night when I have appropriate time. I'm going to sit down and do a formal review of the show for my DSP Reacts channel. Okay, so since that is coming, I don't want to talk too much specifically about things on the show, but what I would like to do is generally talk about the show in just general terms without hitting on point on any specific plot points. That way, if you are going to watch the show yourself, which by the way, I will urge you to, man, it's a great show. This way you won't be spoiled at all. If you want to be spoiled, you can head over to DSP Reacts over the next few days, and I'll be reviewing it there more in depth. But I do want to talk generally about it today because, man, we finished it last night, and I was blown away. All right, so I'm not going to say anything else because I'm going to have a segment on the show about it. And, yeah, it should be a good time. All right, but outside of that, not a lot going on. I keep checking gaming news and stuff. There's really not a heck of a lot going on right now. So a more laid-back stream. We'll talk a little bit about how the React Day went yesterday and the schedule coming up. But for the most part, we're kind of open and free to do whatever today. If anyone wants to drive the discussion in any direction, great. Or we could do suggestion box, or we can do other stuff. I'm not sure. So I guess we shall see what happens over the course of today. Okay. All right. So it's Monday. 3 straight days of gaming coming up. And what a variety. We've got online multiplayer shooters, we've got fighting games, we've got the conclusion of survival horror, we've got a totally new game starting tomorrow of the likes of which I don't know what it's really going to be, but it's claymation. And of course, we've got Soulsborne Elden Ring continuing, so we've got a ton of variety in the next 3 days. One thing we're going to want to figure out is what we want to do Wednesday night, which is an open stream. I purposefully scheduled it like that so that we can have an open night to do whatever. And some candidates for that night would be the Star Wars Battlefront Classic Collection, just a silly night stream of messing around in the game because it was so much funny a couple weeks ago. And outside of that, maybe we just do more of this new game that's starting tomorrow. Maybe we do some Helldivers. I'm leaving it open on purpose, okay? But let's just quickly recap what happened yesterday on the React stuff. So basically, on the DSP versus the Internet show, which is my weekly clips react show over on my DSP Reacts channel, good variety of topics. Like, I would say this week was such a good mix because we had gameplay trailers, but we had also videos about things going on in the game industry. We had documentaries. We had stuff about, like, world news. We had all kinds of good stuff. And I really enjoy when we have the biggest amount of variety on the show because it makes it feel like truly we're kind of jumping around and experiencing a variety of things about life together. And it's always a good time, and it's always a chill time. I really don't have any complaints. It was a pretty much dead on exactly how I like that show. And depending on the videos that are submitted, some weeks we get through many videos, and other weeks we don't. Like 2 weeks ago, we actually did every video. We actually watched every single one. And then last week, we didn't do many videos at all. Like, we just went through the ultra submissions. And then when we got to the submission tier, which is everything in a random playlist, we only got through a few. And I was like, wow, some of those videos were so good, we kept watching, and didn't get to too many. Yesterday was more kind of a mix, I would say, where we got through, I think, about half of the submission tier videos, but not all of them. So it's working. You know, the formula is working. And the one thing I'm struggling with on the DXP Reacts channel is content outside of the show. You know, my idea originally for the React channel was that I was going to do long-form React events. And I did. I was doing long-form React events. Remember last year? We reacted to 1 or 2 of the June the King documentaries. I reacted to the Internet Historian YouTube channel. And then I did a whole giant summertime event about Machinima and my time with them and stuff like that. So basically, that stuff was really, really good. You know what I'm saying? Like, I actually had a great time with it. But it didn't really catch on. Like, when I was doing that React stuff, people were actually complaining that I should have not done it and instead spent more time on gaming. In reality, some of those streams actually did poorly, which is weird because for years and years, people just kept telling me they wanted me to do React content. And I kept resisting, saying I didn't think that it had value and it wasn't really something that was going to fit. And then finally, when I started doing it, you said, well, actually, it's not that good. No shit. It's like, no shit. The only way React content works, okay, is if you're a big drama queen and you basically kind of, you know, crap on stuff or you want to cause some kind of controversy about stuff. You know what I mean? Like, for me, you see what I do on the React show every week. You know, I give my honest opinions on things, and some people agree and some people disagree, but I'm not watching videos for the sake of trying to sensationalize or cause drama. I'm not overreacting to things like a lot of content creators tend to do. So right now, I would say my biggest struggle in all of my content is trying to make the React channel relevant. The one thing that's relevant is the weekly show, DSP versus the internet. But outside that, I don't have regular content for it. You know, last year, I tried putting out regular reviews, and essentially I didn't feel like it was worth the effort when I was putting out reviews that would get a few hundred videos or a few hundred views each, and no one really talked about them and they weren't really in demand. Like, I can see myself doing seasonal reviews for like Halloween month. I'll probably do horror movies, and Christmas month I'll probably do Christmas related stuff. But outside of that, I don't see the point of like doing random reviews because I tried them and they didn't really catch on at all. I think the Fallout TV show is an exception. This is a game series that I have played all of the major releases in for the last 15 years. People like those playthroughs. You're probably going to like my opinion on the show, right? But outside of that, like me just reviewing a random show or a random movie, sadly, it just didn't seem like many people gave a crap. And again, for the amount of effort to schedule myself watching the movie and then figuring out a night when I have like an extra hour to 2 hours to film and upload and all that, it's an endeavor. And, you know, it just looked to me like doing more of what you want, like more gameplay, more chill streams, seems to benefit overall everyone than me just sitting around doing reviews and trying to cram them in. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I mean. Like, right now, the React channel is the channel that's suffering the most. I don't do regular food vlogs. Every once in a while, I do one and I post it up over there. The tier maker stuff I like doing, but it seems like people can't really agree on what would be the good tier makers for me to do. I did a few of them last year. Some of them worked really well and some of them not so much. But if anyone has ideas for tier makers that you'd like to see me do on like a late night stream one night, just a random tier maker ranking, and we chill and we do it together, I'd be down for that. But outside of that, I'm just not sure what else you guys want on that channel. You know what I mean? Like, right now, the channel, it's self-sufficient because of the memberships. I don't make ad revenue on the channel because all the videos get claimed from the React show. But the memberships keep it afloat. If that channel were to dwindle in memberships, sadly, it wouldn't be worth doing anymore. So I'm happy that I do have the level of support that I got over there. But, you know, I don't know what else to put on that channel to get people interested. I'm all ears when it comes to that, so please let me know. And let's try to figure that out, all right? Now, the Throwback channel, all right, is doing decently for what it is, and the Throwback channel has more than enough consistent content But it's hard to get people to catch on and watch the content when it's basically old playthroughs of mine. You know, who's going to be a fan of that? People who like classic stuff from 15 plus years ago, but it's not going to have any mainstream appeal at all. You know what I'm saying? Like, if I play a new game on this channel, it can have potential to bring in viewers. I don't think that me re-uploading lost playthroughs or remastered playthroughs from 15 years ago on that channel is going to bring in new viewers. It's just going to bring in legacy viewers, right? And I basically think that what will happen is over time, I'll build up a body of work on the Throwback channel that people will want to go back and watch over and over, and it'll accumulate views over the years, and it'll become viable and profitable. Right now, this is the slow start. It started in January with only 2 playthroughs. You know, we were alternating between Final Fantasy 13 and Red Dead 1. And then we decided we wanted to do a react show once a week, which we started to do. The retro react show where I react to the old playthroughs. We started with Red Dead, then it was Dark Souls, then it went into Heavy Rain, then it went to Bully, and now it's The Walking Dead. And those shows do decently. And what I mean by that is the streams do pretty good for what they are, you know. And the video series do decently as well when it comes to following and views, but not amazing or anything like that. So I think the Throwback channel is doing pretty good. And honestly, unless you guys have a big idea, like maybe you could come up with a big idea for something to do on that channel, a big event, a marathon or something like that. Like, what kind of thing would you like to see on the Throwback channel in the future to help build the following of the channel? That's a good question, right? So, hey, I'm willing to talk about that and try to figure that out. Right now, the channel is working for what it is, and I think it's going to continue to build over time. It's a slow build, right? The cool thing is about that channel, we can do seasonal stuff. Like, for example, as we head into the fall season, I can pull stuff out. For example, the Undead Nightmare expansion for Red Dead 1 is super good, and we could do that for October. Like, that could be the playthrough that's getting uploaded there in October. And once it's uploaded, I can even react to it, right? So that's kind of neat that you could do that kind of seasonal stuff there. But got to get to that point. So anyway, right now on that channel, if you're not aware, currently there's the continuation and home stretch of Final Fantasy 13, which is almost done by this point. It's getting there. Within the next month, it should conclude. But there's also Fallout 3, which just began. 3 parts are currently live. Part 4 is on deck to go live, I believe, tomorrow. I think it's tomorrow. And now the editors have gotten the editing of those videos down to a science where it's not a huge ordeal anymore. To be honest, the first couple of parts were really rough. Like, I was told it was taking 6 to 8 hours to edit because they were taking the old 4:3 crooked camera angle, fuzzy ass, terrible looking footage from my original Fallout 3 run. And they had to stretch that out to you know, a 1080p aspect ratio, upscale, add frames, make this stuff clear and, you know, so legible. Audio had to be scrubbed. So all this stuff. And once all that was done, it took forever. But now once you've done it once, you have a template. So now that template can be reused over and over. It makes it easier. So now moving forward, the playthrough should be much easier to do. And so far, like, part 1 got really good views. Like 1,000 views for part 1 of a legacy Throwback playthrough is good. But the other parts are just meh. They're doing all right. They don't have 300 views yet. And I'm like, well, I hope people will catch on and start watching. I mean, now the Fallout TV show is out. Maybe people will want to watch a playthrough of Fallout 3. This is my classic one now remastered, right? So you can go give that a look. And then what we're doing is every Sunday night, we're doing a retro react stream of The Walking Dead, the Telltale game season 1. We already did episode 1 and most of episode 2. Last night, we got about 2.5 hours in episode 2. And the fun part about this is I don't remember it. Like, I don't remember much of this game. I remember, like, little snippets of it, but I don't really remember a lot of the big plot points and things that happen. So for me, it's actually interesting to see what's going on and the twists and everything. So I had a great time with it, and I can't wait for more. Like, every Sunday night, we're doing this on the Throwback channel. You can check out some of the videos right now. If you're a member over there, you can check out the archive stream. Give it a look. All right, but anyway, so basically the React stuff is going decently. Is it blowing up? No, it's not. But I didn't expect it to, okay? The React channel itself needs more content, but I don't know what content to put on there. I've tried tier makers. I've tried reviews. I tried reacting to long-form events. Nothing really stuck. The only thing that really works is the DSP versus the Internet Weekly Show. All right? So outside of that, I would love to hear ideas of what you think should be on the React channel. In regards to the Throwback channel, it's doing well and it has tons of content. I'd like to hear what you would think would be a cool idea for maybe an event or a special on that channel that would drum up some more interest. Maybe we could do something like that in the next couple of months, a special marathon or event that would, get more people to check it out, right? Okay. So that was React Day yesterday. Today, we get back into the swing of things with gameplay. Let's talk about the schedule now. So today, it's going to be Helldivers 2 continuing on this daytime stream. I continue to level up and do better every time that I play this game. I'm learning more about how to use the weapons and the stratagems. And I think at this point, I've leveled up to I want to say I'm like level 11 or 12. And I think I hit, is it extreme difficulty? There was like hard, and then there was one above hard, and that's the one that I unlocked, and that's the one that I was playing on. Which gives you what, like 100% experience boost or something like that. So it's pretty good. I'm unlocking new weapons. I'm trying out different ones. I just got the auto cannon, which seems pretty strong, and I'm liking it. So looking forward to more of that today. It should be a solid 3-hour session of multiplayer. And what I really like about this is you guys who show up and help me out to understand the stuff in the game. Like without an audience to interact and be like, hey, try this stratagem. This is working, or this is how this mechanic works. It would be more frustrating. But because you guys are here interacting with me, it makes it a lot more fun. So thanks for being here. Let's see how it goes. I hope we can keep Helldivers 2 in the rotation because I really like it, okay? Tonight on the late stream, 6:45 p.m. Pacific time, it is the conclusion of Alone in the Dark. Yes, finally we're finishing this survival horror game, which we've already seen one playthrough of, but we were doing the other side with Emily. The one negative bummer about this, I can't see the secret endings because I missed one collectible that is not obtainable after you miss it. So because of that, we just have to do the standard Emily ending. I'm like, ugh. The good news is, tonight, unlike the last 2 streams where I played with the Emily character, tonight is all new content. All the stuff that's going to happen to Emily tonight, we have not seen yet in the Carnby side run, because this is where the game will differ and veer and have completely different plots and challenges and puzzles and content. So tonight, if you join me for that, it'll actually be a really fun conclusion stream with Emily. So I hope you will join me tonight, 6:45 p.m. Pacific time on this channel. Tomorrow, we're going to return. Well, hold on. Tomorrow, we're going to try something new on the first stream. We're going to try a new game called Harold Halibut, which is a claymation animation game. Now, I haven't really heard much about the game, except people are looking at it and saying, wow, it looks so weird. We'd like to see you try it. So we are. It is a Game Pass game, so I'm going to get it, and I'm going to play it on the first stream tomorrow and see what it's all about. If it ends up being fun and interesting and exciting and something that you guys want more of, we'll put it in the schedule and we'll check it out. If it ends up being something that's so weird or just out of touch with anything that anyone would be interested in, then we never have to do it again. So I'm just doing it as a one-off. You guys have said, I wish you would do more kind of streams testing games and testing the waters. So that's what we're doing. We're going to see how this goes tomorrow and go from there. Okay? Now, tomorrow night on the late stream on Tuesday, it is the return of Street Fighter 6. And this is going to be a 100% Blanca stream. I'm going to try to get back into the swing of things with, I think he's arguably my best character, Blanca. We'll see how it goes. But I feel like I played the 1 hour with Blanca a week and a half ago, and it went decent, but I didn't give it enough time. So I feel like if I play more with him, I'll probably get back into the swing of things. And let's be honest, out of all the characters that I play with, Blanca is probably the best when it comes to how good he is in the game. Every other character I play with is like low tier. He's like mid-tier, so at least I have a chance of winning against top tiers, right? So we'll see how that goes tomorrow night. And then Wednesday, the day stream will be more Elden Ring. And basically, at this point, we have choices to make. The question is, where do I want to go in Elden Ring? Do I want to check out the Blood Lake and the Blood Palace and get to Moog? Or do I want to continue on with the frozen mountainside of the giants, take on the giant boss, and then go to Fairmazula? Or do we want to continue north in the frozen area to go to the Haley Tree? There's a bunch of stuff there I haven't done yet, and then get to the Haley Tree. It's basically 3 options. And every option is viable, and every option is going to be challenging. None of those will be easy. So I guess it's a matter of, what do you guys want to see next? And we'll make that decision on Wednesday's daytime stream. Okay? Now, Wednesday night is up in the air. And when I say that, I mean, I have not locked any content into Wednesday night at all, for sure. What I'd like to do is test the waters with this new game tomorrow, this Harold Halibut, and see what it is. And if it's something that you guys like and you want more of, maybe we'll do it more on Wednesday night. If not, or maybe we just don't feel like doing it, maybe we could do something like the Battlefront Classic Collection as a one-off random stream just to have some silly fun together on Wednesday night. Last time we played it, it ran like shit, but it was hilariously fun. We had a great time just hanging out, remember? So that's the streaming week. Keep in mind, next week we'll keep going with all this regular stuff, but also next week there's a new game called Another Crab's Treasure coming out, and that game is basically like Dark Souls with crabs. So when that comes out, that's also a Game Pass game that will hit the rotation, and we'll try that out, and we'll go from there. All right. So anyway, interesting, good stuff coming up in the next week to 2 weeks, and I hope that you guys will check it all out. And I need feedback. You know, I need feedback on the React channel, and I need feedback on the Throwback channel. What kind of content would you guys like to see on that channel? You know, right now, like I said, the React channel is the one that really is kind of stagnant with just the one show a week. At least on the Throwback channel, we got all kinds of content pumping out. But I need to know, what would interest you? What do you want to see over there? What would you get you excited to watch and support those channels? Okay, so please share, shall we? All right. Before we get to shout outs and the like, I would like to talk in general about the Fallout TV show. I promise you I am not going to give you any kind of major spoilers or anything like that. I'm just going to talk in big generalities about the show. Okay? So first of all, the Fallout TV show is on Prime Video. So you have to be an Amazon Prime subscriber right now if you'd like to see it, unless you pirate the shit out of it, which I'm sure some people have done, but I do not condone nor recommend. Okay? It's 8 episodes, all of which are instantly available. With the way that Amazon does it with their shows, their entire season drops at once. They don't wait to space out one episode a week like these other streaming services do. And because of that, you can just binge it if you want. My wife and I have been watching it since Wednesday night when it came out. So we watched basically 1 or 2 episodes a night, depending on how much time we had. Last night, we weren't going to finish it, and we got so hooked on the end that we just kept watching, and we were up late watching it. It was good, man. We were so happy we did, but tired of shit because we stayed up late to watch it. So it's definitely bingeable. Each episode weighs in at just over an hour. The first episode is the longest, which runs about an hour and a half, and all the other episodes are like an hour or an hour and 5 minutes, hour and 8 minutes, you know, somewhere around there. Now, wow, let me tell you. First of all, the cast for this show is super good. All right? And I'm not talking, oh, they got insane AAA actors from fucking movies and shit. But the cast that they got are people who are experienced, who are essentially really good character actors. Like a lot of these people you will recognize from other shows that you've probably seen. And maybe they've had great supporting roles, but maybe you've never seen them have a chance to really shine. I mean, just notably, obviously, the Ghoul is played by Walter Goggins, who's been in shows like Justified and other things before. I've seen him in other shows. This is hands down his best role I've ever seen. He's basically one of the leads of the show, and he does an insane job because he plays 2 characters. He plays the Ghoul in present day, but he also plays himself pre-Ghoul in the past. So you get to see 2 time periods in the Fallout TV show, and he does a great job in both. I think he might actually have the most screen time of anyone in the show because of this. Also, there's other characters, like for example, one of the main character, well, not one of the main characters, but one of the characters who's one of the Vault Overseers is actually the guy who plays the main lead in the Twin Peaks TV show. I was blown away by that. I didn't even know he was on the show, and he ended up being a super prominent character. I was like, holy crap. You know, I love Twin Peaks. I haven't seen this guy in ages, and to see him on the show, like, whoa, that's neat. But that's all. I don't want to spoil, because there's a lot of guest appearances and cameos in this show. There's characters who are on the show for 2 minutes. And you're like, why were they there? These are known actors, and they're there for 2 minutes just to be in the show. Maybe they're fans of Fallout. I don't know. But it was real. There's comedians from like SNL that are on this show. Yeah, no shit. I'm not kidding. Just for no reason, they're in it. I was like, what the hell? Let me just put it this way, without spoiling. When you see who one of the Knights of the Brotherhood is, when he takes his helmet off, you're going to be like, what the fuck? Like, why did they do that? It's hilariously cool, actually. I was like, what the? So anyway, with all this going on, great casting. And everyone, I feel like everyone did a good job. Maybe every once in a while, the acting's not 100% on par, but it's pretty darn good with the casting. The production values are great. They're not as good as an insanely high-budget movie. There's some things that do look kind of cheesy, but at the same time, for the most part, the production values are quite good. You know me, I'm very critical of CGI. I'm going to be honest, one of the CGI creatures in the show, I don't like the looks of it all. I think that it kind of looks crappy. But but it's a prominent creature in the show. And I was like, oh, it has so much screen time for this thing. I don't like it. It looks like shit. But outside of that, everything else was good. A lot of practical effects in this show, right? Which is really good. And just to forewarn everyone, it's very gory. It is very much in line with the spirit of playing the Fallout modern games where everyone you shoot explodes and is gory. The show's like that, okay? A lot of adult content. Yes, there's some sexual content. It's not heavy, like there's no full-on sex scenes or anything like that, but there is some sexual content. But basically, let me put it this way, because I'm going to do a full review, and I don't want to spoil any specifics about the show. I haven't yet. I'm just talking in generalities, right? This show is basically exactly how I want every single video game adaptation to go from now on. Because right now, we're in a situation where all of these different directors and developers are trying to make video games into mainstream hits. They're trying to say, let's make a movie, let's make a TV show. And we've got series like The Last of Us and Halo that are really desperately trying to do it, and they are failing. But the funny part is, the shows are still successful. What it is these shows are appealing to an audience that don't know the source material and don't understand that the source material is far better than what they're watching on the shows. So they're watching mediocre shows and saying, oh, amazing. But in reality, if they actually fucking played the games, they'd be like, wait a minute, this is way better. You know what I'm saying? In this case, the Fallout TV show is dead on exactly what I wanted from a TV show of a video game. Does it change things and take creative liberties? It does. But the things that it changes or has creative liberties with don't ruin the lore of the games. In fact, I'm going to say this, the final episode of this season is one of the best TV episodes of anything I've ever seen in my life. It is one of the best culminating episodes of any storyline ever. It is insanely well executed. The final scenes feel like it's the final room of a video game. With the way the plot unfolds and the combat, it's like, oh my God, this could have been the end of a climactic 80-hour gaming experience, this final moment right now, okay? And I want every show to try to live up to this, but I don't know if they will, you know? Now, for the record, no, the show does change things, and I think a lot of people have issue with that because they just want a show that's so in line in canon with the games. And by the way, for what I'm to understand, they are trying to say this is in line in canon with the games. But if that's the case, then some of the plot points of this show change the plot of the games in a dramatic way. And that's what I mean. I don't want to spoil here. I'm just talking in generalities. So I don't want to tell you any specifics. If you want to know specifics, I will talk about those in my full review of the series that I'll do for DSP Reacts in the next few days. Okay? But when the show ended, my wife and I were excited. We were like energized. And we were like, holy shit, that was so good. And it made us feel positive for the future. Because number one, this show is doing well, by the way, for the record. They're saying the views, like, it's really highly rated on Prime Video right now. And the buzz is growing and more people are watching it. So it seems like a shoo-in that they're going to do a season 2. I think season 2 is going to be better than season 1. And again, I don't want to spoil why. But in that finale episode, it basically builds it up to be something so awesome that every single Fallout fan wants to see. And it seems like that's what season 2 is going to be. So, wow, I'm excited. All right. So I strongly recommend that you check out the Fallout TV show. Like, it's probably one of my strongest recommendations I've ever given in any of my content in 16 years. It's that damn good. I think if you love Fallout, you're going to love the show. If you just love dramatic, dark shows, you're gonna love the show. It's seriously good. But again, I can't really say any more than that, because if I do, I will literally spoil major plot points that I feel are interesting and contentious, and but man, super duper good. And I hope that you guys will check it out, because I could not believe how good it was. All right. All right, so that's all I have to say on for today. I will have way more to talk about on the channel, DSP Reacts, later this week. So keep your eyes peeled for that. Would people like it if they don't play video games? Yes, Cracker Jacks. You want to know why? So this show basically has stuff in it that relates to the games and is Easter egg content for those who are fans of the games, but you wouldn't know it if you didn't play the games. I'll just give you an example I mentioned the other day. So in episode 2, there's a crazy shootout in a town, all right? And the shootout, as it's happening, actually has elements of VATS in it. Now, if you never played the game, you don't know what the hell VATS is. You wouldn't even understand what I'm talking about, right? But if you played the game, you know the VATS system. And basically, yeah, there's a shootout where, boom, someone fires a gun, and all of a sudden, the camera will zoom in on the bullet and follow the bullet as it goes across the town. Oh, and then, boom, hits someone. Ah, explosion of gore, just like in VATS. And I was like, wow, the people who made this game the people who made this show love the games. You can absolutely tell that there is love and attention given to the show to make it have references to the games if you love the games. That's awesome. You understand? Like, that's instead of, oh, well, we have source material, we're just going to bastardize the fuck out of all of it to make a show because, you know, it's Hollywood and that's what we do. We just change it to be our own. I mean, they did change some things to make it their own, but it doesn't ruin the spirit of the source material. In fact, it expands upon it. And one thing I will say, man, what did they do in such a big deal that made it good? They didn't just take the story of Fallout 3 or Fallout New Vegas or Fallout 4 or Fallout 76 or Fallout 1 or 2 for that matter and just turn it into a TV show. It's its own story. And because it's its own story with its own original characters, you can't be upset that they ruined your favorite character from something else. You see? That's genius. Here's the problem with a show like The Last of Us. The Last of Us TV show is good only when it relies on the base source material from the games. In fact, those are the best parts of the show. Why? Because The Last of Us 1 is one of the best written video games of all time. So if you're adhering to that source material, you're enjoying it. The moment that it veers from the source material, the show falters. All the changes they made and stuff, it makes you upset. But the game is better. Why did they make this change, right? They don't do that in the Fallout show. They do their own story, and because of that, you can enjoy it for what it is and not have to worry that they've ruined everything that you all love, you know? So there you go. All right, cool. So, full review coming in the next few days. That's it. I'm not gonna keep going because I keep going, I'll end up spoiling too much. I've only told you generalities. Thankfully, I haven't spoiled any plot points or anything. I can't wait to talk about the plot points in the full review coming in a few days. But as you can see, I'm excited. I'm animated over this. The show is so good that I cannot wait for a season. I hope this show gets 8 seasons. Seriously, I do. I hope it does. Okay. All right, cool. I think now what we will do, we'll begin with shout-outs. We'll see how it goes. We'll see where the shout-outs take us. All right? And then if we run out of things, maybe we'll do either Q&A or suggestion box or whatever. But I have a few shout-outs to do before we begin, so I'd like to do those first and then see where the show goes, okay? Okay. So, let's start off with BB Phil doing a super chat. First super chat of the day. He says, I vote for you watching a Super Smash Brothers documentary. As a long-form react, it showcases the old-school grassroots tournament scene. I don't even know what you're talking about. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know what documentary you're speaking of because I don't follow the Smash scene at all. So I wouldn't even know what's out there as content about that scene. But thank you for the suggestion. But a lot of people are saying no, 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 no. No, 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 no. Okay. So, ladies and gentlemen, to start today's tipping, I received an overnight $100,000. I'm just kidding. $100 tip. I received a $100 tip overnight. So I would like to shout that out, get it on the leaderboard, read the message, respond to the message. Okay? It is from Harry Butthole. Oh, yes, it is from Harry Butthole. There you go. I definitely like how people protect their identities here when they contribute to my streams with some creative names. So Harry Butthole, thanks very much for a $100 tip to start the day. Let's read it out, respond, then we'll worry about reward tiers and stuff, but let's see what he has to say. Hey Phil, Harry Butthole here. I am sorry for not tipping much lately. You never have to be sorry for not contributing to my streams. That's absolutely ridiculous, but hey, thank you for the contribution. Money's been tight. I haven't had much time to watch YouTube. My schedule is finally freed up a little, and I just finished watching your Heavy Rain Throwback now, so I guess it's the Retro React, and now I'm starting your Walking Dead Throwback from last week. These are some of my favorite playthroughs of yours, and I think narrative games like this are where your style shines the most. Well, here's the thing. Back then it did. Those games ended up kind of, sadly, getting played out, right? What happened was Telltale made too much. It overflooded the market. When you have Walking Dead, and not even Walking Dead, but multiple Walking Dead games and seasons going on at once. Tales from the Borderlands, Game of Thrones, multiple Batman games, right? And that's just a few. Guardians of the Galaxy, right? They had like so many properties going on at once that I feel like it really did flood the market with that style of game to the point where they just didn't feel that special anymore. And that's why they stopped selling. Like when it was funny, when they had Walking Dead and maybe one other game, everything did good. Like it was Walking Dead and The Wolf Among Us, right? They were giant sellers. And then the sales just kept declining as they flooded the market with more of the same style of game. Kind of reminds me of back in the day with the whole Guitar Hero Rock Band, craze. Where at first there was just Guitar Hero and just Rock Band. So they're two games and they would have numbered iterations and they did fine. And everyone ran out and bought the instruments and stuff. But then what ended up happening was they flooded too much. Now you had, Rock Band Beatles and Guitar Hero Kiss. It was like, wait, that's stupid. That's, I'm not going to buy a whole game just for 10 songs. And they flooded the market so much with this content, it just died overnight. It was like, forget it. Everyone just kind of gave up and stopped playing those games and buying them. And those entire companies went out of business, So that's what happened with Telltale. And it's sad because I do feel like when those games were the most prominent, 2012, 2013, 2014, 2015, like that 4-year span. Yeah, people loved watching me play those kind of games and do my commentary on them. They thought it was amazing. But then what happened was they got played out. So after a while, when I went to play one, people were like, meh, don't really care. And they ended up being some of the least watched stuff that I did. So, yeah, a symptom of their own success and oversaturation leading to their eventual collapse. Anyway, let's continue. I hope you and Kat are doing great. P.S. I hope Kat feels better soon and has time to de-stress. Stress is a killer, as I'm sure you know. I love your co-op content with her, despite how little of it that there is right now. You guys make a cute couple. It's nice to see you happy. Thanks for all the years of content. You're always been my favorite gaming YouTuber, and I don't see that changing. Thank you very much, Harry Butthole. And thank you for understanding the fact that if we're going to do co-op, we want to do it at a time when we know it's going to be fun. What's the point of us sitting down to do a co-op playthrough if we're stressed out? You know what I'm saying? I could tell. I'm so happy we did not do the co-op on Saturday night because I feel like it wouldn't have been that good. Because of the situation and what was going on there with my wife being so stressed out with everything going on with her work and everything. So, but don't worry, it's coming. And we will get back into the swing of things with everything, less stressful and normal. And we will do that playthrough. Promise you. Okay? So, with that one single tip, we have already qualified for multiple tiers of rewards. What I will do is I'll put on the Gunner glasses, although I'll be honest with you guys, I think the Gunner glasses work well for gameplay. I don't think they work well for this kind of podcast or vlog content because they reflect the ring light back at you, and it's very obnoxious in my opinion. So you guys let me know what you think. If you don't like this, I can take them off and put them back on for the gameplay. I don't want to put them on and be bothering you guys with reflections off my eyes, okay? Let me know in the chat. But anyway, also, we're going to have a hat today. But I guess the question is, what hat? Right? And I've been wearing the M. Bison hat for Helldivers, but I kind of have worn it now a few times in the last week, and I'm kind of like, I don't think I want to wear it again. I'm trying to think, like, what kind of hat should I wear? Let's do a poll. Which hat is Helldivers best? The beret, the cowboy hat. I haven't worn a cowboy hat in a bit. the red fedora, which everyone seems to love these days for some reason, or Los Santos. Okay, Los Santos for democracy, someone just said in chat. So there you go. So go ahead and vote in those hats. Let's see what hat we have for today. And of course, if we hit the tier 3 tips goal later, I guess I'll be wearing a vest over my shirt, which is going to look really stupid, but whatever. All right, continuing on. And thank you so much to Harry Butthole. Very good start to the day there with that contribution. I appreciate that. Okay, I received a $10 tip. Hold on. It is from BB Phil. So thank you, BB Phil. Let's see what BB Phil has to say today. He says, have you ever done in-person events where people can hug you and get your autograph, or is that kind of stuff not possible because of your special situation with people trying to disrupt the event and even trying to inflict bodily harm on you? Oh my God. I think pictures of you hugging people and laughing with them sends a positive message to your haters and the world as a whole. Oh my God. All right. So I guess I got to go through my history now. So, as you know, I've been a content creator for 16 years. All right? In my early days as a creator, I don't think anyone cared enough, or I didn't care enough, that I would ever think that anyone would want to come meet me in person. But what ended up happening was, I'd say probably around the year 2011, that desire started to spread. People started to say, hey, are you ever going to go out to a convention or a tournament or somewhere where we can meet you and interact with you? And I remember at one point, I went to a Street Fighter tournament, because, you know, Street Fighter 4 was still quite big back then. And when I went, I mean, I had no intention of meeting with fans or anything like that. I was just there to play in the tournament and do some videos and have a good time. Some fans came up to me and were like, hey, you know, it's nice that we're meeting you here. We're here because we heard you were going to the tournament. We wanted to meet you. And they had me autograph a few things. Like, I think one of them had me sign their game, one of the games that I had played, and they loved my playthrough. Another one had me sign, like, a notebook. And they gave me, like, gifts, you know? Like, no exaggeration. You may not be aware of this. Do you see this Sonic the Hedgehog figure behind me? That was given to me by a fan at a tournament. They just said, hey, this is something, you know, I love you did some Sonic content. And, you know, I wanted to give you a little thing, something. I was like, wow. And so here it is, arguably 12, 13 years later, and I have the Sonic figure here in my content. You know, because, hey, I remember, I keep that stuff. It means a lot to me. I mean, I still got a mug downstairs that looks like an E-Tank from Mega Man that was given to me by a fan over a decade ago, and I use it regularly. That's one of my coffee mugs that I use all the time, right? I love that kind of stuff, and I'm so appreciative of that over the years. So, anyway, after that, I remember returning from that tournament and telling the story in my content, saying, wow, it was really nice that a couple people came up to me at this event and said hello and give me a gift. And people were like, well, yeah, well, you know, we really like you. We want to meet you. We want to do that. I was like, really? So I remember I went to Connecticon, which was a convention in Connecticut. And I went to that and people came out to meet me and stuff. And after that, people were like, well, you know, you're popular enough. Why don't you actually be like a guest at a gaming convention? And I was like, would there really be demand for that? And the first time that I ever attempted to do this, it was a huge disaster. So I was supposed to go to this event called Too Many Games in, man, I can't remember where it was. Was it Philadelphia or something like that? I think it was something like that. So I was big enough at the time that I was going to be one of the two featured guests at the event. It was going to be me and the Angry Video Game Nerd, or the two featured guests at this event. Okay? So I'm going to have a panel. I'm going to have a booth where I can sign stuff. We go to this event. It's one of the biggest traffic jams in the East Coast history at the time. No exaggeration. It was supposed to take like 2 hours to get there. We were on the road for 7 hours. Bumper to bumper traffic. There was multiple accidents on the highway at that time. And it was a nightmare. We ended up getting there so late that the panel was already over with. Like, we missed the panel. We missed everything. It really sucked. But some fans stayed late just to meet with us anyway. And it was really nice of them to do that. But it was really disappointing because, you know, we had wanted to be there for the fans and do special stuff. And we showed up super duper late. So then what ended up happening was I went to 2 different gaming conventions. One was MagFest, and one was the next year's Too Many Games. And at those, it went well. I had a panel where people showed up. They really were interested in hearing about me and my content and asking me questions. And John Rambo and my other friends were there with me to answer questions about our content and stuff like that. Had a booth where people lined up for autographs and or for me to sign, merchandise or documents and stuff like that. And it worked out well. 2 different conventions basically I went to where people really were interested in doing that. Yes, I took photos with people and stuff like that. And by the way, for the record, I never charged for any of it. While other people tend to charge for autographs and shit, I didn't do that at all. I said, I'm not important. I'm not, I don't know why people think that you should pay for someone's autograph like a celebrity. That's ridiculous. I would never do that. Just come and get everything for free, which everybody did. Okay? So, I did that for a couple of conventions. The last convention where I ever did anything at like that was Throwback Gaming Convention in 2013. Okay? Get Jasper Kitty off my lap now because he's being silly. And in that one, not only did I have a booth where people could meet me, and I think I had a panel. I can't even remember, but I also entered something called the Iron Man of Gaming competition, and I got to the finals, the top like 8 or 10 who played on stage at the end. So that was really cool. But after that, after 2013, a couple of things happened. Okay, the first thing was I was planning to move out of Connecticut. So instead of me being focused on, oh, I'm going to spend my money traveling and doing all this stuff, I decided to save up my money and to essentially try to make it so that I was going to move across the country to a different place. And when I did that, that was my focus. So I wasn't going to spend time, traveling and doing stuff like that when I was saving my money for a big move. Okay. That was number 1. Number 2, all right. Basically my popularity, this is when it started to wane around that 2014, 2015 period. This is when This Is How You Don't Play blew up in popularity. This is when the internet started being very toxic towards me. And because of that, I kind of felt like that was the turning point. Like, there was a time prominent in 2011, 12, 13, where I was popular enough that people would come out and meet me and want to do stuff at events. But after that, it just seemed like when I moved across the country here 10 years ago, that was it. Like, that was the big thing that everyone just started to hate me. And again, it was weird because it wasn't that I had changed my attitude, I had changed my content or anything like that. I was the same guy, but all of a sudden everyone hated me. Like, so let me get this straight. From 2008 to 2013, I could do the same thing and everyone loves me. All of a sudden, 2014 hits, now the whole internet hates me. But I haven't changed. So what did? Right? Anyways, this is culture. The culture of the internet changed. And it made a lot of things change for the worse, in my opinion. Everyone was into people now who had high production value, who did cross collaborations, who kissed butt in the industry to get free games early, all the stuff that I didn't stand for. I was always the kind of guy that was just me and my very close-knit friend group doing content, having fun. That's all it was about. It was about guys having fun with games. It wasn't about this is a product to be manufactured, polished, and pushed out on YouTube for popularity purposes or in any intention of blowing up in popularity and making money. It was just supposed to be for the love of the game. You know what I'm saying? And it just changed. It really did. The whole industry on YouTube changed. But I didn't. And because I stayed true to myself, I definitely became the laughing stock whipping boy meme of the internet. Oh, this guy who's a dinosaur and won't change and he sucks at games and he makes fun of game devs and he sucks and fuck him, But again, I was exactly the same dude. Like, I was literally the same guy. Nothing had changed. The things that made me popular for 5 years now were making me the butt of the joke of the internet. Okay? Anyway, at that point, when I moved, that was it. So I just stopped traveling. I stopped going to conventions. I stopped anything. In truth, the real reason was I couldn't afford it. When I moved, I basically put myself into a financial hole. I overspent on the move and to furnish this house and things like that. And I had a giant hit to my income within the first year of living here. My income was up here. And then with copyright strikes and all this negative attention, my income went from up here to like here, like halved. And when my income got halved, it was like, now I'm fucked. Now I'm in such a financial hole, just trying to make ends meet. And I was like that for a long time. I was stuck in that rut for about 5+ years, It is what it is. That's life, right? But that's water under the bridge at this point. But yeah, at that point, I stopped doing any kind of in-person events whatsoever, and I haven't done one since. In reality, today, if I were to try to do something like that, no convention would want me. Zero conventions would ever want me as a guest. I'm too small time. I'm too negative, right? Like, no one would want to be associated with a guy who gets constant stalked, harassed trolls on the internet, right? No one. It sucks, because back then it was the opposite. Everyone liked me and my content, and now today I have a small group of people who like my content and a large group of basically life losers who just want to crap on me constantly, and they would probably try to fuck with it. Like, honestly, even if a convention were trying to have me in a positive light, you'd probably have a bunch of toxic shitheads who would try to go and ruin it, say fucked up, awful things, ruin it for everyone who's trying to be a positive person, Do I think that someone would try to attack me? No. No one's going to do that. These kind of people are antisocial losers. They sit in fucking their homes and do things behind their computer. They don't come out in person to do shit, all right? They don't. They're fucking idiots. So, no, they're not going to come out and try to murder me at a convention. That's the stupidest thing I've ever heard, okay? But they absolutely would try to do dumb shit. So, that's it. Like, what can I say? I won't know. I'm probably never going to have any event where I meet up with fans and we shake hands and take pictures and autographs ever again. I don't think so. To be honest, I'm just in a different place in my life. When I was younger and I was in those early days of YouTube, I was free to kind of do whatever I wanted. I didn't have a family or anything, and I was like, well, I got all this time. What do I want to do? Let's go to a convention and vlog it, and let's do this and that. Today, I don't have enough time to spend with my family as it is. Like, I wish I had more time to spend with my wife and Jasper Kitty here and everyone. I don't. I'm in this office 6 days a week, full-time working, just to make ends meet. So I can't take days off to go to a convention and meet fans and do autographs and things like that. You know what I'm saying? There you go. All right. So there you go. That's the honest answer. Okay. All right. Let's see here. Agent Coop became a member this morning. Thank you so much to Agent Coop. I really appreciate that. Thank you so much. All right. Let's see here. Oh, excuse me. A giant belch. I'm sorry about that. That was really disgusting. All right. Well, I think that, yes, for now, I'm just double checking because I'm trying to load. As I said, sometimes some of these pages don't load. Okay. As of now, I've covered all contributions and shout outs. Okay. So there you go. Okay. So let's see. Jade says, I don't like Helldivers 2. I feel watch SW. Oh, he says, I would like to watch Star Wars Battlefront. I'll see you tonight. Okay. Tonight is Alone in the Dark's conclusion. I'll see you then, Jade. And yes, maybe we will play Battlefront later in the week. We'll see. Maybe I'll play that on Wednesday night. It's on the fence right now what I'm doing Wednesday night. I'm not sure. Okay. Pizza Box Gaming did a super chat. He says, thank you for reading my suggestion yesterday. Yes, Pizza Box. I remember your suggestion, which was to do the shout outs immediately for any contributions. But as I explained, if we do that, sadly, I would get so derailed, right, that I probably wouldn't even get to the stuff I wanted to talk about. Like, here's a perfect example. I had 2 contributions, tips that had come in before I talked about Fallout. If we had done those first, we might have gotten sidetracked and never gotten to talk about the Fallout show. You know what I'm saying? So, there you go. I don't know why people are still talking about the show in chat, because we're not talking about that anymore. If you want to talk about that, wait for my review to come out later in the week. I'm not going to discuss that because it's going to spoil too much for people who haven't seen it yet. So, okay. All right. So here's the deal. It's noon, okay? And we got some time. Whatever you guys want to do. If you want me to do suggestion box, we can do suggestion box, and I'm okay with that. But typically, suggestion box ends up taking a big chunk of time. Maybe we should just do some open Q&A today instead and just kind of relax. It's up to you guys. All right? Let me know. What do you guys want to do? If you tag me in the chat with a question, I'll answer it. Or if you want something else, we'll do that too. So please give me your feedback. Some people want suggestion box and some do not. We're torn. All right, if we do suggestion box, we're doing it quickly. We'll do like 1 or 2. That's it. Okay? Let's do like 1 to 2 suggestions for today. That way we don't get too sidetracked and the podcast doesn't last 17 hours. Now, why did it reload? That pisses me off. It reloaded it, so now I got to sort it again. I got to find the old one that I was looking at yesterday. Ugh, dang. All right, hold on. Find it here. There's the patron one. Okay. Oh, let's see here. Just a bunch of toxic stuff I'm not even going to read. Seriously. Like, some of these things are so toxic. It's like, why did I even bother? I'm not going to waste time. Okay, this person says, I enjoyed that story you told about Alex Valle in your hotel room at Evo, where he was babbling about getting a green card. Maybe a regular Street Fighter segment would be a cool thing where you tell old school fighting game stories. You also seem to enjoy reflecting on the story. I could see it in your eyes. Yeah, the thing is, I don't really think about that stuff often. I don't. That's such a chapter of my past. When I was much younger, I was a very different person. So I don't think about it that much. And then when you guys bring it up and you ask me specifically about certain things, and I have like a remembrance of stuff from back in the day, and I start talking about it, I'm like, it gets me a little excited. Like I said, what I think is maybe we're going to be thinking about doing a marathon at the end of May, correct? Fighting game fiesta, where essentially the entire event is based around fighting games. You could have some modern fighters like Street Fighter 6 and Tekken 8. We could set up Fightcade to play retro fighters. We could react to some of my old footage on the internet of me playing high-level Super Turbo and stuff like that. I could tell stories from the past. You guys would just have to ask me about certain time periods and stuff. But yeah, like I think that could work. I don't think I want to regularly do a segment about it, but something like that where it's in place and in context could work, right? So there you go. Okay. Let's see here. This one I've already addressed in the past, but I'll address it because it's here. Add a tier 4 tips goal where you stream an extra hour if it's reached each stream. Consider adding a super chat goal with different incentives altogether. The more reasons to support, the better. Cannot do the extended stream. I already stream as much as I possibly can. Again, back in the day when I was a bachelor and literally my entire day was free with no obligations, no responsibilities, and nothing else going on in my life, I had the flexibility to say, hey, I can go as late as I want. Today, I am a married man. I have responsibilities to my family. I want to spend time with my family. I already am in this office from 10:30 a.m. until arguably 10:30 p.m. with a break for dinner in between. I can't be in this office any longer than I already am. That's why I can't do that. I'm well aware that many other content creators and streamers do this whole idea of extend their streams if they reach a certain level of support. That's because they're not married. And they, you know what I'm saying? They don't have the same life situation as me. All right. And if they do, I have no idea how the hell they've arranged it that they don't ever have to do anything outside of their office and they could just be there all day streaming. That doesn't make sense to me, but that's not my life situation. Okay. As for super chat incentives, as I said, I'm not against it. The problem is YouTube doesn't grade super chats properly. They use different denominations of currency. So someone could do a super chat in USD, someone could do a super chat in British pounds, someone could do a super chat in euros, someone could do a super chat in, what's that one, SEK? I don't even know what that is, but I see that one a lot. I've seen like 20, 30 different currencies come in through super chats. I have no idea what the value is of those because they're not equivalent. They're all different. And I'm not going to sit here like a banker or some kind of like a currency exchanger doing math equations here to figure that out every time a super chat comes in. All right? That's why I do it that way. Plus, there's another thing to this, okay? And the thing is thus. If you haven't noticed, with the way that I do things currently, okay, there's two ways to get recognition on this channel. You can either be the top tipper, or you can simply super chat and you'll be on the leaderboard for a little bit of time. This allows accessibility for people to get noticed for contributions in different ways. Not everyone could be the top contributor at all times, right? Maybe someone is someone who can only afford like $1 super chat every once in a while. Nice to still get on the leaderboard for a few minutes, is it not? So it's a nice way to do that. As opposed to if it was only ever the top contributors, then sadly, only the big people with, the biggest contributions will ever get any kind of recognition. And I don't think that's necessarily fair. In addition, as we've already stated, when it comes to these goals, like for example, the Gunner Glasses goal, the hat goal, the vest goal, we're already at this point kind of feeling a little stagnant. And I asked, what are the ideas for new goals? And no one has really come up with any good ones. So now, how are we going to have incentives for super chat goals as well when we don't, we already are kind of burnt out on the ones for tips? It's like now you're asking me to double up on my rewards when the ones that we have existing aren't as popular. You know what I'm saying? So the whole extend the stream thing cannot happen. But essentially, the core of your suggestion is, what about different rewards? I'm all down for that, but the question is, what would you like? Let's talk about that. If people really feel that the glasses are stupid, that the hat is dumb, played out, that the vest, who the hell cares about the vest anymore? It's not 2020 anymore, right? If that's your feeling, fine. But let's talk together about what are the better things to replace it. There's a difference between saying this is no good or saying this would be better as a replacement. One is just a negative. The other is constructive. You see the difference? So I'd love to hear everyone's opinions on things to replace the existing goals if they don't work. I'm all ears. Let's talk about that. Okay? And thank you for your suggestions. Okay. I received a $3 tip from Tony. He says, if you decide to go to a convention, I'll be your personal bodyguard for free. I'll snap pencil neck haters. I won't even stand near you if you don't want me to. I'll be behind you. If someone tries anything, they'll wish they never did. That's definitely what I need. I need a full detachment of Secret Service to follow me around. So that way, everywhere I go, I'm defend. Even if I have to take a dump, I need them to stand outside of the stall door for me. All right? In fact, here, actually, I got a better idea. You ready? We're just going to get me... You ever seen the Pope Mobile? I want my own. I just want my own Pope Mobile. So I'll just drive around everywhere in that, and then the service members to defend me can circle the mobile, and we could drive around like that. Just imagine me driving around in my little personal Pope Mobile around a convention. That's the best. Now we're talking. All right? All right. This is great ideas. Thanks a lot for the $3 tip. I received a $10 tip. Hold on. From 1 Minute Man. Hold on. He says, don't be super annoyed over not finding the lanyap in the caves in Alone in the Dark he's talking about. You're only missing the 2 bad endings. Just having the lanyap is not enough, at least not for Emily. If it's any consolation, you could probably still get Grace's ending by giving her the toy talisman if you talk to her by the tree and get the most surprising ending. By the way, what was it about the box that made you so nervous to think it was the hardest to find? So, hold on, because it's a lot. Number one, you're only missing the 2 bad endings. That's not true. There's 3 secret endings. There's 1 bad ending for Carnby. There's 1 ending that kind of seems bad, but actually is a more hopeful ending for Emily. And then there's the what if ending that's kind of a mind screwing. It reminds me of some of the weird endings of Silent Hill. You might say, well, how do I know this? Because I looked it up. I did have to spoil myself because I wanted to know how to do it, and the game wasn't being apparent on how to get them. So I did have to look this up to spoil myself. Now, having the lanyap is not enough, at least not for Emily. It depends on what you're talking about. For her secret ending, if I had gotten that lanyap, I could have gotten her ending. There is one other criteria to do, but I still could have gotten it. And now I can't get it because I didn't find it. And it says, you can still get Grace's ending by giving her the toy talisman. No, only Carnby can get Grace's secret ending. So that's what I mean. Like, I can't do that because I'd have to replay the game with Carnby again a 3rd time to have all the collectibles to get that ending. So I can't get that ending now. Emily cannot trigger it, only Carnby. I can't get Emily's secret ending because I missed the lanyap. And that's what pisses me off is like I played the game twice and I can't get any of the secret endings. All I can do is see the regular ending for Emily now. It sucks. Now he says, what was it about the box that made you nervous and think it was the hardest to find? Are you talking about the item I don't have yet, because I thought that it was going to be like a one-time thing, and it turns out that you just naturally will find it in the story for Emily that's coming up, because the story coming up is different from Carnby's. So you just find it naturally in the story with Emily. I thought it was going to be like a super secret item that I was going to miss, but I was wrong. It turns out it was the other item. It's a page of music that it's in when you're in that mausoleum graveyard stage. So you remember the area where you're being chased by a bunch of the monsters underground and you have to run because there's too many. They mob you and they insta-kill you. When you finally get to the end and they're not chasing you anymore, all right? There's a room with there's a couple items and stuff in it, and I picked them up with Carnby. There is a stupid, like, crevice in the wall to your left that you can only see it if you hover near it. Then an icon appears to press the button and go in it. Outside of that, it just looks like the wall. So I've walked by this with both Carnby and Emily while investigating that room for stuff. I couldn't find it. And because of that, I missed the lanyard. And that pisses me off. Like, why did they make it so cryptic? Because I should have been able to get all the secret endings. If I had gotten this one lanyard, I could have got every single one of them. And I would have done, like, the secret Emily ending. Then I would have reloaded, and I would have gotten the standard Emily ending. At least I would have gotten to see 2 of them. You know, the Carnby ones, I would have had to reload or whatever. Or not reload, but replay or whatever. So I probably wouldn't have seen those anyway. But still, I feel like I took all this time to get all these items, and now they're not going to pay off for me, and it kind of pisses me off. By the way, it's apparent that the cowboy hat is going to win the poll. So I guess I will get the cowboy hat. And then I got more shout outs to do, but let me get the cowboy hat for you guys first. Oh, okay. Now I feel like Walter Goggins. Big Fridge did a super chat. He says, DSP politics, next evolution of the business. Like I said, I think it's going to go there eventually at some point. I just don't know when. And I don't know if this is the right time. I am kind of on the fence about it. Some people seem to want it. Some people seem to be staunchly against it. Like I said, if I am going to do anything political related like that, it's not going to be on YouTube. It's just not. I'm going to go somewhere else. So it's a third party. And if something goes wrong or whatever, it doesn't affect my YouTube presence. I can't be risking my 14 years here on DSPGaming. I can't be risking my other 2 partnered channels, which are, you know, like DSP Throwback's just starting to get some steam behind it. I can't have that stuff get destroyed because I put political content out and people go crazy, right? So anyway, I'll do it somewhere else. I just don't know where yet. I'd have to think about it. But yeah, I'm very apprehensive about getting into it at this point, okay? I really am. I don't know. Excuse me. Yeah, I know the election is coming up. It's going to be crazy. That's what I mean. Like, a lot of people are like, oh, the election's coming up. This is the best time to do it. I tend to actually disagree. I think that right now with this election coming up, people are going to be so polarized and so angry at each other. And who knows? I'll be honest. I have no idea what's going to happen with this election. I can't even start to predict what's going to happen in this country with this election. I don't know who's going to win. I don't know how the country's going to react to whoever wins. I am nervous that we're going to have some crazy unrest very soon. I don't know if now is the time for me to try to make political content to capitalize on that. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's kind of dirty feeling. I know a lot of people are doing that, and I don't know if I want to be part of that right now. You know? What's up, Gameboy84? How you doing today? I am not a Republican or a Democrat. I keep telling people this. I'm not either. I'm someone who's an independent thinker, and I tend to sometimes think that one side is correct. Sometimes I think the other side is correct. Sometimes I think absolutely nobody is correct, and everyone's off kilter. I just hate to say it. In this country is very, very my way or the highway, and that's stupid. In life, the whole point is, if you're a politician, that you're supposed to be serving the people and doing what's best to give them a better life and protect them. I mean, when you're actually called a public servant when you become a politician. I think the politicians have forgotten that. They don't act like that. They act like they're all out for their own personal interests. And it doesn't matter which side you're talking about. They both act exactly the same way. Because why is it that when we have these driving issues in this country, right? Healthcare, gun violence, inflation, we have all these things that everyone agrees are problems. You see anyone from either side of the aisle coming together to fix the problems? No. It's like, this is how you fix it. No, this is how you fix it. Me, 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 me. And no one works together to fix anything. So the whole country's fucked up and no one does anything to help. That's not how you run a government. That's literally not government at all. That's absence of government. And that's what we have right now. That's what I mean. Like, my political content would be so different from what other people do because everyone's either, oh, I'm all the way to the right or I'm all the way to the left. And I'm like nowhere near that. I want nothing to do with that because these fucking people are so self-centered and just out for themselves that they don't help anybody. And it drives me nuts. And then you get misrepresentation in the media of saying things are getting better. Oh, inflation's down. Inflation is up. Inflation increased the past 2 months. And the media was saying it was down. So what I mean? Like, people are nuts. And then people are, oh, well, complacency, right? Well, I just believe everything I'm told. And I mean, that's the state of politics in the United States. And that's what I mean. Like, do I want to start actively talking about this stuff? Like, here's how the political stuff would work. I would definitely do something outside of YouTube, whether it's a channel somewhere, I don't know, Rumble or something. And I would probably do a couple different things. Number one, I would probably cover news stories. Like, I would try to find political news stories about things going on in the country that are hotbed political news stories. And I would give you my take and commentary on those stories. That's number one. Number two, I would probably just do generalized talks about things going on in politics and stuff. Maybe focus in on this politician today and talk about their theories about things and my takes on that and stuff like that. So it would be actual very focused political content. It wouldn't be crossing over with my other content. You wouldn't be watching me play Helldivers 2 or watching me play Elden Ring and think, oh, this is referring to something Phil did in his political content. It would be so separate, you know what I'm saying? That's why I even feel like doing it on different sites, different businesses would make sense. That way there's no crossover between them. Okay? But, again, I feel like doing it now is kind of almost exploitative because we are in a situation right now where our country is about to be at the edge of that precipice. We're about to go over the edge with this election. I don't know what's going to happen. Again, I really feel like it's going to be crazy. Really, really, what's the word I'm looking for? Volatile. That's the best word. It's going to be a volatile time in the United States. And nervous. I am nervous about the future with the way these people are acting and everything. Especially our leaders. You know, we have leaders who outright are attacking people like schoolyard children. They're calling each other names. It's like, what is this? You're supposed to be a fucking leader and you're acting like you're 5 years old. You know? So, that's what I'm saying. I don't know if that was the right time. I'm actually afraid that if I do this content now, it could be dangerous almost. You know? Maybe we want to wait for the election to end. Let's wait for the crazy fallout of all that insanity to go by. And then if that's something that we want to do together, we do it after the fact, not building up to this giant explosion that's going to happen in November. You know? You know, you listen to both sides, and it's like both of the rhetoric on both sides is just insanity and wild shit. Like, this is not going to help. Neither side is doing the right thing right now. They're both doing exactly the wrong thing and setting up this country for a big problem in November. There you go. I don't want to stoke the fire. Exactly right. That's the opposite of what I want to do. Just because it's now the popular thing to do, that's not what I want to do. I don't want to sit here and stoke the fires. You know? What I've always said, here's what I've always said. Okay? With all the years of content that I put out there, as stupid as some of it was, of all the mistakes that I made, what you can say at least is I've never really been harmful. Correct? The content that I've done hasn't harmed anyone. Yeah, I made fun of Hideo Kojima. Did he fail as a game director because of me? No. Right? The stuff that I've done is arguably harmless. It's just stupid content for the sake of being stupid in the old days. Today, it's more meaningful content that's more chill and fun for an audience that wants to relax and escape from reality and just have a good time. I never feel like the content I've put out there has been very harmful to anyone else. at all, right? I don't do that drama content. I don't attack people and shit like that. So I'm nervous that when you get to the political arena, it could be content that if you're in a hotbed situation like this country is in right now, that it could backfire and actually be harmful. You know what I'm saying? So there you go. I don't want to be a part of that. You know what I'm saying? What's hilarious, Daxman says, harm is subjective. I think your trolls would say you've been harmful. Okay, how? What harm have I caused? Name one fucking thing that I have done in my content that has created long-lasting or significant harm to anyone. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't even do that shit. I play video games all day, right? I'm I'm accepting and open to everybody out there. I try not to do anything that's insulting or directly attacks anybody. Like, how could you even argue that in a rational mind? I'm not saying people don't say that. I'm saying that rational people know. People who aren't just out to be bullies on the internet know that I've never harmed anyone. That's not the kind of content I put out. You know what I'm saying? All right, Jade, I'll see you tonight. Sounds good. Playcool says it's crazy in the U.S. It's so divided. There's not enough rightful minds on each side to understand that the most important thing is to strive for it together. Yeah, and it's crazy. I really feel like right now in our country, it's like good and evil, black and white. This side is right, this side is wrong. But then the other side is exactly feeling the same about them, right? On each side, I'm the hero, you're the villain. It's like, that's not fucking life. In fact, that's not politics. That's not what politics are supposed to be at all. You're a public servant. You're supposed to be there to serve the people and do what's best. You're not doing that if you have this adamant mindset that everyone who doesn't agree with you is your enemy. And that, you know what I'm saying? And then both sides are like that right now. It's not one or the other. It's literally both who are acting like this. It's ridiculous. Okay. Anyway, that's enough DS politics for today. Very generalized stuff. So there you go. Ever thought about increasing the 50 character limit on super chats, or do you prefer smaller messages? I don't even know if I can control that. I don't think I control that limit. Maybe I do, but I actually don't know how that works. I don't know where the character limit comes from. Yeah, I don't know at all. It might just be that that's an arbitrary limit that YouTube has put on super chats, and maybe there is a way to change it, but I'm not aware of that. I don't know. I mean, think of it this way, though, Maximum Turbo. Do you really want people doing a super chat for $1 and doing 17 paragraphs? And it's like, do you really expect me to read that? You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the thing. If you don't have limits, that's just something that happens is people will take advantage of it. For example, when I didn't used to have a limit on the size of a super chat, and this was used to be when I was cheers on Twitch, people would do a penny cheer just to be stupid and say something dumb, and it would flood my pop-ups. It would be like pop-up, 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 and it was all stupid shit, like racial shit and stuff over there, trying to get me in trouble. So then I increased it, and I increased it. Now it's like $1 for a super chat, and it limits that, right? Jasper, what did you just do? Hold on. I heard the noise. I was like, did Jasper knock something over in the other room? And I looked. I can't find anything. So maybe he just jumped down from somewhere and made some clamor. I don't know. Okay. You see, that's the point. So, for example, someone in chat just said, if Phil does go somewhere and do politics stuff, I won't follow him. That's fine. And that's why I want to do it separate. You understand? There's people who definitely are an audience for that stuff. And they want that stuff and they want to talk about it. Correct? Not everybody. Not everyone wants to talk about that and do it. And if you just care about the gameplay stuff or chilling here on the podcast, you continue to do that. And that's the good thing. I don't want to put that content here. And I don't want there to be a crossover. It's definitely a distinct difference between gaming content or chill podcasting content and that kind of content. So I totally understand where you're coming from, and that would be the point of the separation, for sure. Thank you, Death Metal Addict, saying, hope you're having a great day. Phil in chat. Awesome. Me too. I am. I'm excited for today's gameplay. I think it'll be a good one. Oh, man. Oh, my goodness. All right, guys. Any final things you want to talk about? Any things you want to tag me in the chat and discuss? Any topics that are hot? Any questions? Any concerns? Nothing else. I've hit all the shout outs so far. I appreciate everyone supporting the stream so far today. I have not, boy, people are not asking me questions about political content. I'm not making political content. I don't know anything about it yet. Asking, oh, what would the format be? How long would the show be? What would I'm not doing it yet. I don't know. Stop asking. People love to get so far ahead of themselves. It's ridiculous. David H says, what's your favorite Star Trek villain? Oh, man, probably Q from Next Generation, right? He was always the recurring character who would come back and have the wildest plot lines, so. No, I would not be vlogging again. Been there, done that, did the vlogging style stuff for many, many years around my house and the like. I would never cross that line again. And like I said, my content is in this room. This is my content. That's why I have a room designated for it in my home. That's that. It's not going to cross over into other aspects of my life. I enjoy having the separation of private and public stuff. It works a lot. That personal aspect of my life is mine and my wife's, and that's it. It's no one's business, and it's not crossing over. So there you go. Was Q really a villain? Yes, he was. Not all in all cases, but basically what happens is over the series, it ends up becoming an ally and then kind of a between. But there you go. Did I give an opinion on the former Blizzard president saying people should tip developers when buying games? Yeah, it's hilarious. He's an idiot. The reason he said that is because he's rich. He should, instead of asking for people to tip the game developers, he should pay the game developers more fucking money instead of lining his pockets with money. Yeah, there you go. If you have people who are full-time employees of your company complaining they're not making enough money, then it means you failed as the leader of the company. It doesn't mean that the customer should pay more money for the same product. That guy is a piece of shit. No, but why would they? Maximum Turbo says the elites are disgusting these days. They don't even try to hide it. Why would they? I keep telling you guys, we have, in reality, as a human race, we have an infallible upper elite class. They literally can say and do whatever the fuck they want, and they never, ever answer for it. They can get away with paying almost no taxes. They can get away with hoarding wealth. mistreating employees, running their companies into the ground. They fail up. No one calls them out. No one holds them accountable. They're infallible. They just become invincible because of where they are in life. That guy could say that. It's like, what a statement to make. So your employees who need to make more money, they're working their asses off making games for you, right? They're full-time employees. These are not a waiter or waitress expecting to live on a tip. They have a salary with you, and they're not getting paid enough. Your answer to that is that the customer should pay more money to tip them rather than you run your fucking company better so they're not starving. You are a piece of human garbage if you said that. Like, what is wrong with you? Will anyone hold them accountable for their actions for saying that? No. No. They'll be fine. They're rich. They don't care. What do they care? You know? I received a $5 tip from Ugly Tuna Roll. Hope you have a great day. I know you're set in stone, not playing Stellar Blade. I played the demo, and it's definitely up your alley. No, it's not. It is not up my alley. I'm telling you. I don't care about the game. I don't care about the gameplay style. If you don't notice, even that gameplay style. For example, when we played Devil May Cry, what was it, 5 or whatever? I played through the game, and I was like, it was fun. The gameplay elements. I didn't care for the story whatsoever. I played it for the gameplay, and I thought the gameplay was kind of silly fun, but it wasn't anything to write home about. It wasn't anything for me to do multiple crazy playthroughs of or anything like that. To me, those kind of games are just, they're not a big deal. The one exception I would say is Nier Automata. And why was that the exception? Because that game had a crazy fourth wall breaking plot, the likes of which we still haven't seen since then. That game was written in such a complex, interesting way that it made me, after your urging, want to go back and see the rest of it. And that really got me. That is not Stellar Blade at all. Stellar Blade is a game that is made with that style of gameplay, which is fine, that is literally designed to be exploitative of the female body to get people to buy the game. The game dev is known for this and has outright stated it multiple times. If I play that game, all you're going to have is people perving out in my chat constantly. There's no room in my content for that. I'm not playing it, period. There's no reason to ever bring it up ever again. To me, it doesn't exist. You might, and that's fine. Enjoy it. I can't play it. I'm not playing it. Don't waste my time talking about it. Okay. Exactly, Swaggo. He says your old school Phil would have been all over it. People still think you're that guy. I'm not. That guy disappeared 7-8 years ago. I grew up and matured. I'm married now. I don't fucking care about that shit. You're right. Old school Phil would have played it like he played Bayonetta 1. But take a look at me. Even take a look at me playing Bayonetta 2, right? Which actually was a long time ago on the Wii U. I didn't like that either. I outright said to you guys, man, it's all right, but it's kind of boring. And the whole appeal again is fucking half-naked woman. It's stupid. I'm not entertained by that. It's not entertaining to me in any way, shape, or form. I've outgrown that kind of content. That content was for a different audience. When I was younger and I was trying to appeal to teenagers on YouTube, that's when that content made sense. I just don't get it anymore. And you know what I'm saying? I don't like it. I'm not going to enjoy it. The audience is going to act like a bunch of dumb kids. There's no point. There's no point at all. Jason Smith says 90% of people who hype it are only interested in jerking their meat. There you go. No, I mean, in reality, it's sad. Here's why it's sad. Okay? Let's say Stellar Blade actually is stellar. Let's say it has groundbreaking gameplay, a riveting story, the likes of which we've never seen before. None of that will matter. The only thing you will remember it for and people will talk about is the girl. Because that's what the game dev was intending. He did it on purpose. So no matter what, it doesn't matter how good the game is, you've pigeonholed yourself into being known as the sexualized game. Is that what you really want? I mean, maybe it's going to sell more copies for you, but in the long run, I think it's stupid. And that's my opinion. Like I said, and I'll say it again, if Stellar Blade had a dude in the title role, not this woman, no one would be talking about this game in this way. Some people would be excited for it, but no one would be fanboying over the game, going crazy and shit. No, it's only because the protagonist is a woman designed to be over-sexualized. It's the only fucking reason. Sorry, it's just true. And if you don't believe me, go look at other similar games. They don't get this level of hyper-attention. This game is only because right now we have a stagnation of games. There's not any AAA hyped games out right now that anyone's really talking about, right? That's true. And so it's going to come out and it's going to have the space to be talked about, and it's just going to be over-focused on this woman's body, and that's it. I got a $2 tip. Well, Ugly Tuna Roll, I didn't mean to offend. I won't bring it up. Positive vibes only. There you go. All right. Thank you, Ugly Tuna Roll. You know, it's like I've been saying on this channel about extremes. I literally just said this about political extremes. I said, right now, the reason that our country is in the problems it's in is because the two parties are so extreme. No one's willing to see in the middle or work together, right? It's either you're all Democrat or all Republican. You're all right and you're all left. Well, to say, well, the reason this game's getting attention is because there's so many game devs and studios right now that are so leftist that they're making all the women look ugly. So this game's doing the opposite. Okay, great. It's still polarized. You understand? So if you disagree with something all the way to this direction, does that necessarily mean that the thing all the way to the other extreme is the correct thing? No. In reality, there's no reason to not have women in games that are realistic. They can be attractive, but that's not the only aspect of who they are. They're real women who have brains and plots and character development and story. You can have all of that. You can have the best of both worlds. You don't have to have all the way one way or all the way the other. In the middle is where you're going to find that medium that's the best option. But no one wants to care about that. Well, because they've been making games all the way that way, we got to make the game that's all the way over here, and we'll get that audience instead. Well, you succeeded at your goal of getting the buzz and the talk and the controversy, but now all anyone's going to talk about in this fucking game is how the woman looks. No one will care about the rest of the fucking game. As much as people will pretend, oh no, I'm an intellectual. I buy Playboy magazine for the articles. Yeah, right. No one fucking cares or believes you. You're so full of shit. You're so disingenuous. We know what you're buying the fucking game for. We're not stupid. And again, if that's the case, there's nothing wrong with that. You can buy the game for that. But I don't care about that. I'm not going to partake in it. Okay. Are we good now? Have we covered enough topics now? There you go. So there's the comparison. The people who are pretending like they're going to buy Stellar Blade and play it for the gameplay are the same people who say they buy Playboy to read the articles. You have your quote, and you can run with it now. You have your quote. All right. That is it for today's stream, or today's podcast, I should say. Thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Tomorrow, I'm sure we'll have some updates on the current playthroughs, maybe some game news. It would be nice to have some game news, right? Man. So hopefully we will. All right. But anyway, thank you guys for watching. I appreciate you all chilling with me here on the Level 1 podcast. Keep your eyes peeled for my review of the Fallout TV show coming during the course of this week. But outside of that, thanks for watching and listening to the show, and I will see you all tomorrow. Bye-bye.